Hello, my lovelies. Welcome back to Ranting with Riley. I'm Riley. If you're new here, welcome. If you've been here before, thank you for coming back. Much appreciated. Today I'm working with the Handmade with Love marble yarn, which is this one, which is what I've been making my jumper out of. I am so proud of myself because I have finally got it to the point where I'm actually onto the sleeves. So let me show you what I've got so far. So far we have a back panel that's probably too small, so I'm going to have to block it bigger. We have tied up here a front panel. So this is going to be like this. And those are for tying off bits. And I've started the sleeve, which looks a bit janky, but it's going to be a nice sleeve. So yeah, I'm halfway through the sleeve, and then I ran out of yarn, so I've had to buy some more today. Luckily, I just sold something on Vinted, which means I can actually afford to do it. So yeah, now it's just a case of tying it up and finishing it off. Or at least I want to get a full sleeve finished today. Chewy is around. She has been with us for a few days now, and she's finally settled enough to eat food and drink a drink. She's still unsure with the other cats, but we expected that. I'm going to leave that and chop it later. But she is very snuggly, so she may pop in because she's awake and she's moving around. But yeah, today I thought I'd talk about our trip to Japan that we went on. It was the first ever holiday that I booked myself, and we went in, I think it was 2018. If I'd have known what I was doing, I'd have booked a different hotel, because as much as the hotel we went to was lovely, it was really far away from the centre of Tokyo, because I wanted to do Tokyo this time, and then next time we go, I kind of want us to do Kyoto. Or maybe just where we actually travel around, but because it was my first ever planning of a trip abroad, or just a trip in general, I was a bit unsure what to do and where to go. So the hotel that we stayed at, it was near the airport, which was good. However, it was also really quite far away from the main city, that it was like an hour journey to and from daily. I did not realise how big a country Japan is, but it is a lot bigger than I expected. So that was interesting. But yeah, we'd wanted to go for a while, me and my partner. And it was always somewhere that we were interested in, because he really likes anime and manga and stuff. And I really like the culture and the actual, like, just the look of all the traditional stuff. So that was one thing that we really wanted to do. And then I thought about it for a while, and then I dreamt about it. But I dreamt that I went with my partner's mom. And I didn't like that idea that the first time I ever went to Japan was with my partner's mom rather than my partner himself. So I was a bit like, yeah, we can't do that. So that dream sparked me into holiday planning and booked us a holiday. So that was fun. We found the weather was really good. It was really hot when we went. We went during the month of June. For my partner's birthday. It was supposed to be a surprise kind of thing for his birthday, but when you're asking somebody to take 2 weeks off, 2 weeks off work, and also asking them to get the picture taken for what do you call it? It's a driver's license for overseas. International driver's license, that's it. It's kind of hard to keep things secret. But yeah, we got the international driver's license or permit each, just so that we could go karting in Akihabara, which was great. We got dressed up I was dressed up as Pikachu in a onesie, and my partner got dressed up as Sully from Monsters Inc. He regretted his decision pretty quick because it was very, very hot, and that outfit was like the hottest one that he could find. But yeah, we would go karting on the main streets of Tokyo, which was really, really fun. Also, absolutely terrifying because we were among regular traffic in these little tiny cars, and every time dirt or stones got kicked up, it went straight into your eyes because you were already at like eye level with it. So in hindsight, we probably should have taken goggles or glasses or something to protect his eyes because it was really quite painful to the point where we weren't really paying much attention to the sights around us because we were too busy trying to focus on where we were going, where the leader was that we were following, and there were a couple of American people in front of us that were going really, really slowly, and you had to indicate, obviously, to take turns. But it wasn't like one that when you click to indicate, it automatically clicks itself off when you turn that direction. It was one that you had to manually unclick, and the people in front of us kept on forgetting to turn their indicator off. So we're like, oh, right, okay, so we're turning left. And it's like, no, we're not. We're going straight. Wait, what? And so we were getting really confused. And then they were slowing down to wave to people. And it's like, okay, I get it. It's exciting. But come on, please. Go a little bit faster. But I get it. Americans drive on the right and we drive on the left in the UK. And they drive on the left in Japan as well. So for us, we were in a better situation because we were driving on the same side of the road as we normally do. So yeah, it was fun. It was really fun. It was definitely worth it. We saw a lot of the sights that we wouldn't have seen otherwise, because seriously, Tokyo is a lot bigger than we expected. We spent many a day exploring. We went to Ueno Park, which that was at least 3 days exploration because they had a museum in there, they had a zoo, they had a temple. Like, there was so much to do and see in there. In fact, the zoo itself, you could have done a 2-day trip to it. So yeah, there were lots of things to experience in there. We were genuinely surprised by how big the shops were, or just like the stores in general, because we had like big department stores, but it was just like House of Fraser or John Lewis or something like that, and they've basically all closed down now, and even them, they weren't as big as the ones that were in Japan. They were like 14 floors tall, and they had a full electronics department. We have shops specifically for electronics, and theirs are just part of the department store. It was baffling, but it was really good, and it was a nice experience to experience it all. Did I? Yeah, I wasn't sure if I'd marked off that new row or not. I hadn't, so there we go. So yeah, it was fun. I'll be honest, we didn't try too much of the food. My partner did. He likes trying new foods. I'm a very, very picky eater. So a lot of the stuff didn't appeal to me, and I know for a fact that if I don't like something, it really shows in my face, and I didn't want to offend anybody. So if I did try new things, it was stuff that I could take upstairs to the hotel room and eat in the hotel room, and then I wouldn't offend anybody if I didn't like it. So that's just how that is. One of the things, like, obviously there were culture shocks. There's always going to be culture shocks when you go anywhere new. But one of them for my partner was the cars, because most of them were like square cars. And that really baffled him. We actually took lots of pictures of square cars, and the plan was to just do a montage of just square cars when we got back, because that really, really shocked him. I think for me, the biggest culture shock was probably just how clean it was. Like, we have not very clean streets where I live. People do litter. There is like bins and stuff, but nobody really uses them, or if they do, they're always super full, and then the wind blows the rubbish out and then it goes everywhere. So yeah, to me it was the fact that there was no rubbish anywhere, but there also wasn't like just public bins. So they were keeping it really clean and really good. Um, the trains ran on time, and we kept on getting the green line train because it went in a circle. So if we ever got lost and we stayed on it for too long, it's fine. We could have just waited until we came back around again. So that was great. Everybody was so nice. Everybody was very polite. Or they ignored you. So, you know, if somebody did talk to you, very nice and polite. If they didn't talk to you, they just ignored you, which I'm good with that. I don't mind. But yeah, we got caught out in the rain one day and we were waiting for the green man to cross the road. And suddenly it stopped raining just around us, but there was a lovely gentleman who came behind us, noticed that we didn't have a brolly, and just put his umbrella over the top of us to make sure that we were nice and dry whilst we were waiting for the green man, which was really sweet of him. And it was really fun with the kids as well because they learn English in school. So, like, we got really excited if we said, like, you know, if we were saying hello, it's like konnichiwa, and saying thank you, arigato gozaimasu, and all that kind of stuff. So we were really happy in ourselves, and we got a good feeling for actually saying things in the language of the country that we were in. But we noticed that a lot of the kids that were obviously learning English, they did the same thing and they looked so happy when they could say something to us in English. So it was just really sweet. We had this lovely little situation going on where we were little kids when we spoke in their language, and they were all excited when they were speaking in our language. So it was just really lovely. We also had, we got a bit lost one of the days, and we obviously looked like confused tourists, and a gentleman came up behind us and basically in his no English and our no Japanese, we managed to figure out a system for him to show us where to go and how to do it, which was really, really lovely. You know, we didn't ask, we just obviously looked confused. So that was really sweet of him. And yeah, we found it was really nice. The people were amazing. I would definitely go back again. I don't want to leave, but I also don't want to work there because their work-life balance is not in line with what I think should be what it is, but each to their own. That's just how they are. That's just how they do, which is fair enough. But yeah, they had lots of cat toys because more people have cats than they have dogs because most houses are small, and also generally the like especially with the older houses, the walls are quite thin, so you don't really want dogs yapping and stuff, and generally if they do have dogs, they're the really tiny ones. So yeah, big dogs were rare to see. It was also quite common to see elderly people just going around doing the regular shopping on the bikes and stuff like that. So that was entertaining. They looked like they were probably stronger than I am. I am very weak anyway, so. But yeah, it was great. We went to Tokyo Tower, to the One Piece world when that was actually a thing, and it was just after the 3rd anniversary of it. We weren't sure about going there initially because it felt like it was geared up more for kids than it was for adults. But it was One Piece themed and we wanted something to do, so I was just nosying around to see what they had. And it was something that I found when I was in England. And then it was something that came up again when we were in Japan. So we decided, why not? Let's just do it. And it was great fun. It was really, really good. It definitely is more geared to children in a way, but at the same time it's really fun for adults to do. And if you're just a fan of One Piece in general, it's really fun to be part of it. They actually had like a bit of what do you call it, like a bit of a setup of the going Thousand Sunny, so you could actually go into the rooms and stuff, and I think there was We went into the aquarium bar and stuff, and so that was fun. They had they had the baths for individual genders, so they had the female bath and the male bath, which had lots of baths. They even had outdoor ones, which were lovely, because by the time we were there and we were actually in the onsen, it was getting dark, so the outdoor ones were just chef's kiss. It was really, really nice. Once you get over the fact that you're naked with a lot of other naked people, it's okay. You really get used to it. But this onsen that we found was actually pretty fun, because it was inside. It was decorated, like all the walls and the ceiling and everything, like it was a festival night. So it felt like you were outside, and they had little stalls and everything. You could get shaved ice, and they had places that you could sit and eat, drink, chill. They even had rooms where you could just take a nap. And it was actually attached to a hotel, which if I'd have known that, I'd have probably booked us in to stay there. Just because onsen was one of the things that we really wanted to do when we went. And it was a lot of issues getting there. Those last 2 days, it was hurry, 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 rush, 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 calm. Hurry, 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 rush, 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 calm. it was just like that. So basically, we booked it the night before. Bear in mind, this is the last full day. So we booked it the night before and had to pick up tickets from somewhere else. So that morning we ended up going into Tokyo like we normally did. I think it were about 40 minutes to get there. And then we had to figure out how to get to this other place. I can't remember where we were going. So we had to figure out that. And then once we figured out how to get to the other place by train and underground, we had to figure out how to walk there. And then when we got there, we picked up the tickets, absolutely fine. And then I think we were trying to wait for a bus, but we weren't sure which bus to get or what stop to get from. So we ended up going somewhere else and doing something else to get to that point. So yeah, it took a lot, and we were lost, and we were confused, and we were running out of money, and it was, yeah. So by the time we got there, luckily I'd already paid for it. I had actually run out of money, and didn't realise that there were other things to buy whilst we were there, so my partner said he'd pay for it. But I had... Oh, hi, Chewy. Are you coming up? Come on. She's thinking about it. Come on. There we go. So this is Chewy. Not that she's showing you much of herself at the minute. She'll probably show you a bum. Hi. Right, stop showing them your bum. Show them your face. Show them your face. There we go. Beautiful. So this is Chewy. She's not mine. I wish she was, but she's not. She's very fluffy. Very, very fluffy. She has been defluffed recently, but you can't tell. Yeah. Anyway, so they had places to buy things, and basically when you went in, you got a wristband that you could pay for everything via the wristband, but you weren't paying like with actual cash, so you left all your stuff in the locker rooms when you first went in. You had to change into yukata when you went into the actual place, and then when you went into the baths, you had to change out of that as well. So all your money was locked away before you even entered, which meant that the bands actually paid for everything. So when you finished at the end, you gave them the band and it'd charge you whatever it was that it needed to charge you. But we had no money left. At least I had no money left, and it was supposed to be me funding it because it was a birthday present for my partner. But then my partner said that he'd put some more money on the card because I got one of those like top-up cards for other currencies. But we were like, he was the one that had the internet on his phone because we had to pay separately for that. However, his phone was on its last legs of charge and we didn't have a charger handy or anything. So he had the internet and the money, and I had the card and the phone charge, but it just, oh, it was so much stress and so much hassle. But we finally managed it. We ended up eating some shaved ice. We had a great time. We went to the onsen. They had a river bit outside where you could just rest your feet and actually sit with partners as well. So that was good. So we had a great time and it was lovely and we spent a long time there. But then when we came out, we were all nice and relaxed and chill. And then we nearly missed the last bus back to the hotel. Because it was the last bus, but there was so many people because it was the last bus that we genuinely thought that we wouldn't get a seat. I think we ended up being like the last 2 people on, and so luckily we did manage to make it, but we did end up having to sit apart from each other because everybody else had already claimed seats and we just ended up sitting where was possible, so we weren't anywhere near each other. But yeah, we managed to get back to the hotel fine, which was great. And so yeah, it was a lot of rush, a lot of panic, calm. A lot of rush, a lot of panic, calm. And then the day after, we followed in that footsteps. So we were planning on getting, we had a hotel transfer to the airport. We went down for breakfast, we were having a nice chill breakfast, and then I double checked the time and realised that the bus was actually leaving in 10 minutes. We still hadn't checked out. Luckily, I'm really quite organised in the fact that whenever I know I'm leaving somewhere, I'll make sure to be packed the night before, and just leave out only what's necessary. So luckily that we were all sorted, and I think we actually brought the luggage down when we came down for breakfast, knowing that we'd just be leaving straight away. But yes, so we had to really quite rush to get ourselves checked out and everything. But we managed it because it was just a nice chill breakfast, and then we realised the time and it was like, oh, we need to go now. Like now. Got to the airport, had a nice wander around, no issues. Flight was delayed, like not by much, but it was delayed a little bit. And so, you know, it was a lot. And then we got the flight, and so all was good whilst we was on the flight. And then we got to the transfer airport, but because the flight had been delayed initially, it meant that we only had, 10 minutes to get to where we needed to get the transfer flight. And that's like going through security as well. So we didn't think we were going to make that. We ended up getting the last shuttle bus because we were on the wrong side of the airport. We ended up getting the last shuttle bus to the flight. Luckily managed to make it. But then on the way, I realised that I'd actually got my time zones mixed up. And we were arriving 2 hours earlier than, like, in England than I thought we would be. So my partner was on the phone to his parents, just trying to ask for a ride because it was going to take 3 hours to get back from where we were, to get to the airport. And, you know, there was a chance that somebody could come and pick us up if they had enough time. So it was literally, he put the phone down just as he stepped onto the plane. Like, that was how close we were cutting it. And it turns out his parents couldn't pick us up from the airport in that time. It was supposed to be my mum that were picking us up initially, but because I'd got it wrong, even when I got in touch with her, she's like, I can't leave now, I can't. So we had to get a train from the airport back to the centre of the city, and then his parents were going to give us a lift from there. But when we got to the airport, on our side, we were waiting for the train and it just weren't showing up. I'm like, well, what's going on? And then found out that the train was actually delayed by an hour. But then they cancelled it, didn't mention it was a cancelled train. So we had to go around the train station and try and figure out where to go next. And then it's like, oh yeah, you're just going to have to transfer at a different train station, which means that you need to get this train that's leaving now. And I'm like, run! Just going crazy for it. Finally got on the train. It was super full. Took about an hour on the train and we were stood up the entire time. Transferred, and it was supposed to be the same train driver that was transferring to the next train with us. But he didn't explain where we were supposed to be going, so then we were waiting for another train that wasn't moving, and then found out that the train we were supposed to be getting was running, like setting off. I'm like, oh, okay, so we ran for that. We proper went crazy. Luckily, when we finally managed to get back into the centre, his parents were there to pick us up, and they dropped us off home, and we were okay after that. But it was just so much of the rush, 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 chill, rush, 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 chill, rush, 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 chill. Like it was crazy. Very hectic ending to my first ever holiday that I booked for myself. So hopefully you enjoyed this rambly style. I feel like I have continued doing the actual crochet whilst I've been doing it, which is good. You even got to meet Chewy, so that's nice. But thank you ever so much for joining me. If you enjoyed this content, please give me a thumbs up. That really helps make me feel better. I'm not gonna lie. If there's anything that you want to do or talk about, or anything that you want to see me try, just give me a comment and let me know. But thank you ever so much for joining me. Please have a lovely day, and I shall see you next time. Bye bye.